Hello everyone, I'm going to be focusing on setting up Snowflake deployment that is through SPCS. My previous video, which you can see the link where I was talking about connecting SharePoint to Snowflake via Openflow, that was through Bring Your Own Cloud. That was before SPCS became available. You create a deployment, you create a runtime role, you create a runtime itself, and you configure access to external domain. That's because before traffic can go out of Snowflake into different sources, you need to allow that traffic out. That's where you're going to be needing an external access integration. So why don't we get to business? I am in my Snowflake account right here. And don't worry, I put all this code in the description of the video. Now I'm now going to create a role, Openflow admin. Then I'm going to grant the Openflow admin all these privileges to create Openflow data plane integration. You can go ahead and create another runtime role as per the documentation. But for this demo, I'll just stay with the Openflow admin role. This is very important. This is what I was saying, for it to be able to go out, for traffic to go out of Snowflake. All right. You have to create a network rule, which is egress mode. All right. Then for now, I just put my value list and it should be able to go to like all pages and all that. But this is not enough. If I'm connecting to other sources, you're going to see that in a minute. I need to come here and include those sources. You're connecting to a SQL Server endpoint, you're connecting to other sources, you have to allow that here. Okay. Then you now create an external access integration that will reference this network rule that was just created. Run all that. If everything works as expected, then we can move on. All right, that's good. I've created my external access integration and I'm ready. Click on Openflow. And when that opens up for you, then you say launch Openflow. It may ask you to log in again. Go ahead and log in again. Make sure you are using your Openflow admin role. I'm going to go ahead and create a deployment. You can either bring your own cloud or you create a Snowflake deployment. So I click next and choose which one. So I need this first one that just got launched recently, depending on when you are watching this video. Okay. All right. So I do next. You give it a few minutes. See, my deployment is active and created. So next, we need a runtime. So we go ahead and create a runtime here. I'm going to just call it ingest test. All right. I leave every other thing, the node type to be small, all of those information except Snowflake role. What role should this runtime use? I'm going to make sure I use my Openflow admin role. Okay. If you want to add other usage role, then you can add that. This is very important. That's what we created in our script. Then I will say create. So give that a few minutes so you remember that we did create a network rule and we use that network rule within this access integration Openflow out. Okay, so after a few minutes, my runtime is ready and active to launch the canvas. And the canvas is where you design everything. You can either click here or you come here and view canvas. I'm just going to start with a very simple one. I'm going to drag in a processor here. So generate flow file, put Snowpipe streaming. I'm going to use that as my destination. Do a quick CSV. So 2 columns, name, color. Olu is blue, John is green. I'll drag the connection here. When it's success, it should add it to that. Snowpipe streaming. Now I need to explain what authentication strategy. This is one of the benefits of Snowflake deployment. Choose Snowflake session. We're going to use that, the database. I'm going to use the schema, a simple table to receive that data that I'm going to be sending. That's okay. That's all good. Create a CSV reader. Say create new service. I need to enable it so that it can be used. And put the funnel here and say when it succeeds, the relationship, it should go to that funnel. I'll run once. I have, if I refresh here, I generate that data. I will now do Snowpipe streaming. I will run once. When I run once, I refresh. Okay, so that's a success. So it went to Snowflake. So beautiful. So why don't we try something else? Invoke HTTP processor. So I put that here. This public endpoint is for flights that you can find online and quickly use. I'm going to pull data there from there. So I say, okay, that's all I'm going to do here. Relationship, when it's fail, let it terminate. When this all terminate, original terminate. The only one I'm going to leave is response, which is going to the next flow. So that's all done. The next thing I'm going to say is split JSON. So when you get that response, if it fails, please terminate, original terminate, only split will go to the next one. But for property here, what is the JSON part expression? I'll just say $. So the whole body of the JSON. Okay, so I will copy and paste this. So it has all my information from before. Then I will do splits on this one. Then I will do to the funnel success. I had CSV before, but now I need a JSON tree reader. So I'm going to create a new service. So it's going to read the incoming JSON. It needs to be enabled. This is likely going to fail. Why? Because that endpoint is not yet allowed in Snowflake. So if I run this now, I'm going to run it, just run once so that you can see in case you get error in your own space. So as I run once here now, let's give it a minute. If it's taking time already, you know there's something wrong here. If it works well, it should be immediate. All right, you see that's an error. Put my cursor there. The error is not so helpful. This URL that I'm going into, traffic is going out of Snowflake to go to this endpoint. I need to allow it. So I'm going to copy this, alter network rule that. I'm going to run that and see set value list. I'm going to run it again, run once and see. When I refresh now, you see there's a success. If I open this, the public flight info is right there and I'm able to pull data. So I'm going to right click and run once. So these are all the columns I'm expecting. So I will come here and say flights. All right. And say, okay. Let me try and verify my component. It should be okay if there's a good response. All right. That's good. So I apply that. Then why don't I run once? Attempting to run. I'm going to refresh. And it succeeded. You see. All right, good. Data is in Snowflake. I did select count star from my table and I can see beautiful. And you can do this. Now, why don't I add something a little bit more for you? So I have a SQL Server. I want to test SQL Server 2. You can come here, import from registry and search for SQL Server. So if I go to parameters, so port 1433 and I leave it that way and I upload that right there. That's my asset. I'm going to tick it to use SQL Server driver. So password is set. I'm going to apply that for where it's pulling data from. Now, if I try to test to make a connection to that endpoint, I'm going to get an error. And that's what I'm showing you right now is that because in your external access integration, the network rule, that endpoint is not allowed. So now my network rule is altered to allow that if it's able to access. Can you see it's now very successful because now it's allowed. That's the destination. So here, use Snowflake session token. That's what I'm using for this. Snowflake warehouse I provide, Snowflake role I provide. I leave all of this blank because I'm using Snowflake session token as the authentication. Include table names as empty, then included table regex as .star. So I'm going to apply that. I am expecting them to be pushed into Snowflake. Let me go in here and run the next one. This one is supposed to fetch the available tables. So if I refresh, there's not really anything coming out. And the reason is because one of the requirements for SQL Server Connector is that you must enable change tracking on your source table. I'm going to just enable change tracking on that one too. I'm going to run this one, view, verify configured tables. So you see, I got a result, 56 bahts. It should start. Let it start. And don't forget, it's only going to pull those tables that I enabled chain tracking. In my Openflow DB, I automatically saw a new schema called sales LT. That was my schema in SQL Server. It created that for me. You see the name is sales LT. This is what is in SQL Server, and I can see the same thing in Snowflake. I hope these have been useful for you. Go ahead and set up your own Openflow environment in SPCS. You can leave comments, you can ask questions. Reach me on LinkedIn and I'll be happy to help you out or answer your questions. All right, thank you. My name is Olu Jonathan. Have a good one.